Let's say you live in a grand and brilliant castle. To the north of this castle lies a small town, 20,000 meters or 20 kilometers away. Now, when you move from your castle to the town, you cover 20,000 meters. In this case, 20,000 refers to the magnitude and meters refers to the unit. So distance is defined as the total length covered by an object between 2 points. In this case, it is 20,000 meters. But the question becomes, is distance a scalar or vector quantity? If the question tells us that you have moved 20,000 meters away from the castle, is this information sufficient to reach the town? Clearly, this is incomplete or one-dimensional information, and you won't be able to reach the town. You can move in any direction 20,000 meters away from the castle. You could have gone to the Tree of Knowledge, which is 20,000 meters away, or the Dragon's Den, which is also 20,000 meters away from your castle. In both instances, the length covered is 20,000 meters, so we say the distance covered is the same. However, mere statement that you have moved 20,000 meters away from castle is insufficient to reach the town. You will also need direction in which the town is located. As distance is one-dimensional information mentioning only magnitude, we can say that distance is a scalar quantity. We discussed how the Tree of Knowledge, Dragon's Den, and Town all lie the same distance of 20,000 meters from your castle. This caused confusion when you are told that the distance moved from castle is 20,000 meters. You do not know if you are moving towards the Tree of Knowledge, Dragon's Den, or the town. As the high and mighty ruler, you don't like confusion, so you send your army who destroy both the Tree of Knowledge and the Dragon's Den. This leaves only the town, which is at a distance of 20,000 meters directly north. All should be pretty simple now, right? However, the destruction of the Tree of Knowledge and Dragon's Den angered the fairy godmother, who summoned mountains and volcanoes around the town, and the only way is to take a different route down, which is longer. Now you can't go straight north to the town because the path is blocked by mountains. The town is still 20,000 meters or 20 kilometers north of the castle. The new route takes longer as there is more length to cover. That length is 40,000 meters or 40 kilometers. In other words, the distance covered from the castle to the town is now 40,000 meters or 40 kilometers if you take the new route. 40,000 meters is greater than 20,000 meters. So the new distance now covered is 40,000 meters. Let's talk about displacement, which is defined as the shortest distance between the start and end point. This is usually a straight line between those points. So in our case, even though the distance covered has changed from 20 kilometers to 40 kilometers, the shortest distance between the castle and the town is still 20 kilometers due north in a straight line. In other words, displacement is still 20 kilometers, but the distance now is 40 kilometers. This difference is mainly due to direction. The town is located directly north of the castle. The idea of displacement is that despite the difficulty, you could just ride your dragon and arrive at the town if you fly straight north of the castle. So while distance relies solely on the length covered, displacement is all about the shortest distance you can cover in a particular direction between the start and end point, hence a vector quantity. Let's recap to the Tree of Knowledge and Dragon's Den. A dragon flies from the Tree of Knowledge to its home some 20 kilometers away. As it moves, it covers length of 20 kilometers, and this is defined as the distance covered. If we add the direction east to this 20 kilometers, we have a quantity called displacement. Displacement is a vector quantity because it has both magnitude, 20, and a direction, east. In this case, the displacement, which is defined as the shortest distance between the start and end point, is also 20 kilometers because the object has moved in a straight line. Distance and displacement in this case are equal. The distinction between the two is the difference of scalar and vector. We have two castles here, study castle and party castle. The distance between them one way is 15 kilometers. This means an object must cover the length of 15 kilometers in order to reach from the study castle to Party Castle. This length of 15 kilometers is also known as distance. The people at Study Castle are not happy at not being invited to the Party Castle, so they muster the army and send it to close down the Party Castle. As the army moves towards the castle, it covers a distance of 15 kilometers. But once they approach the Party Castle, they realize that it is protected by a fearsome dragon. Fearing for their lives, they return back to the Study Castle, failing in their mission. In their retreat, the army covers an additional length of 15 kilometers. So the total distance to and from Party Castle that the army covers is 15 plus 15 equals 30 kilometers. As the army returned to its starting point, the shortest distance between the starting and ending point is zero. In other words, the displacement is zero, even though the distance covered is 30 kilometers. This shows that displacement is a vector quantity. Moreover, there are situations where distance and displacement are not equal, especially in case of circular tracks.